You have to do 3 pull-ups to get into the Marines.
Welcome back again, everybody. My name's Isaiah. This is my good friend Austin.
Thanks for having me again. Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. Dude, so I've been excited to tell you about this. I did a podcast recently with my friend Matt, and he introduced me to this company called Kinesium, and they have this awesome little device. It's called a Kini, and it's I'm about to order one. I need to get one ASAP, but it's this little device that's motion activated, and the whole premise around it is like, if you wanted to, make sure that like your firearms were, safe and nobody was tampering with them or whatever, it's this little device you could put on the inside of your gun safe or anything like that. And if it gets, tampered with in any kind of way, and like the way that I kind of think about it is like, oh, if somebody broke into your house and your wife had to like grab a gun real quick, she's not going to have time to call you. So then like you're going to instantly get a notification on your phone saying like, oh, somebody's messing with the gun safe. So then like you'll know something's going down and you can be like, oh shit, I got to go. But anyway, so we've kind of started this collaboration. So now I have a discount code that gets people 10% off, and I think it's a phenomenal product. My friend Matt showed me how it worked, and I was like, dude, this is legit. I got to get some of these. And the application is like endless. Like he was telling me about how there's disabled people that he knows that are using it for like, oh well, their dog needs to go out, so like their dog can go up and like hit that
Yeah.
and be like, okay, well now the dog needs to go out so I can go unlock the door. Or like, they have one set up on like their mailbox, so then like their mail is here, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many
Yeah,
applications.
I've got one.
And I was like, dude, this is so cool. I gotta show this.
I've got one for that.
You
Oh
have one?
yeah. So another application for that. So I have a toddler who can open doors now, and so I could put one on the inside of my pantry to know when my son is trying to sneak some snacks or some cookies or something. So I get a notification on my phone to go up there and tell him it's not time for a snack yet, buddy. Dinner time's coming.
That's genius.
No.
Yeah.
Aaron doesn't have the code to my gun safe either. My wife, for multitude of reasons, but if the situation were to occur, and she needed it right away, we'd be able to, instead of her just calling me, I would know, like, oh, like if there was anybody trying to, because she's never in that area of the house at all, so that'd be
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna have to get one of those.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked about it. I'm about to get a few of those, and I'm excited to test them out and see how I can use it in different ways. But yeah, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, oh, this Austin would love this. I gotta tell him about this. But dude, I want to hear your work story.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
So first thing in the morning, I have just this preventative maintenance contract with this customer, and so I show up in the morning, and it's a large, it's a private healthcare place, and I'm just saying this just to kind of put it into perspective with the parking lot I'm in.
Right.
Private healthcare place. It's a large parking lot. Probably in this area, this side of the parking lot, 100 to 150 car lot, large lot. And I always like to park in the back, so especially at a place like that, so people who are, going there, ill people have a closer spot. So I'm all the way in the back. We have the back into spots, and I park all the way in the back on an island, and my driver's side is against an island. And I'm like one of the first cars in the lot. There's like maybe 10 other cars in the lot. And within 5 minutes, like I'm sitting there doing some paperwork, clocking into my work order, and a car pulls up. It pulls straight in. It's like a 2008 Toyota Camry. It pulls in nose first, and so that car is on the side of my van that my tools are on. And so I'm already checked in. I'm about ready to get out, and this car pulls up. And this guy, from what I can tell, all the windows were tinted. He's leaned back in his driver's seat, and he has the back window on my side cracked, like, I don't know, yay far. And
Right.
I kind of peek over, and it's hard to see in there. It's probably 7:15 in the morning, and at this point, it's still fairly dark out, and with those tinted windows, it's hard to tell. But I feel like he is staring at me, and the windows on my van are not tinted at all, so he can see straight in. And I get this weird vibe, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get out, because if I get out and go around, my back's gonna be turned. Yes, I had my protection with me, but being in my work van and my work clothes, and I don't bring it into customers' facilities with me, I leave it secured in my van. So I'm waiting this guy out, and every so often I kind of peek over, and I'm like, this guy is totally like staring at me, but I'm thinking in the back of my head, it's some worker. He's got to go to work at 8 or something.
Right.
He's just kind of leaned back, kind of relaxing before his shift. And eventually, after like 15 minutes, he finally gets out. And from what I can tell, I didn't watch him go in, but I assumed he went into the building. Like, all right, cool. Like, thinking, all right, what do I need? I'm going through my list of stuff again to make sure I know what I'm doing, know what tools I'm going to grab. And after 5 minutes, before I can get out and go in, he comes back, and he is totally staring at me when he's walking back. 100% staring at me. He opens the trunk of his car for like maybe 30 seconds and legitimately slams it to make noise. And he gets in his car. He backs up, rolls down his passenger side window so it's even with me.
Uh-huh.
And at this point, I can't ignore him anymore. And so I roll down my window. I say, is there something I can help you with, sir? And he says, I can't believe this actually happened. He says, you want to get your dick sucked?
I'm sorry, what?
That's what I said. I said, excuse me? And he said, and he's not smiling. He is dead looking me in the eyes. You want to get your dick sucked? And I said, after I had thought about it, I'm just kidding. I didn't think about it. I said, no, I don't. He goes, okay. And he rolled his window up and drove off the lot. And that was it.
Bro, what? How old was this guy?
He was our age. He was our age. He was mid-30s.
Okay, did he come across gay, or was he
did not
just...
he did not sound gay. He didn't have a he didn't have a lisp. He didn't look gay. Just, you want to get your dick sucked, bro? No thanks.
No, dude.
In a decent part of the neighborhood, decent part of town, a nice developed part of town, not far from a college campus. Like, what? Like, craziest thing that's ever happened. I could just sense it right away. Like, from the very beginning, I thought something's off with this guy, and I was proven right. It was the weirdest. And then once he drove off, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm gonna go to work now. Finally, 30 minutes after I had planned on being in the building, but I was just like, whoa, So like,
Yo,
well, like what possesses a human being to just solicit a random person like that? I am in work clothes in a branded work van of a large construction company that like what I don't
yeah,
I
that's fucking weird, dude.
maybe my mustache
I
seemed
mean, it is a very
seemed
enticing mustache.
a little clean that day. I don't know, but
Dude, so I go to the playground with my daughter pretty much every weekend. But I'll go to a different playground. And so this past weekend, we go to the playground and I take these towels with me and I'll wipe off the slides for her and everything because we go at like first thing in the morning so that everything is still wet from all the dew. And this weekend we go down the slide like one time and then we go over to hop on the swings and I'm wiping off the swing and this dude who's like white guy mid probably mid to late 40s, early 50s ish. It's cold out, so he's in gym shorts and a tank top with like orange piping around. It's a gray tank top with like orange piping like around the edge of everything. And he like walks around onto the playground, and I'm kind of like, okay, this is a little weird. So he's probably like 20 yards from me. We're over by the swings, and there's this like what do you call it? Like a metal staircase that goes up to like the top of the playground so that you can get on the slides and stuff. And he walks over to that, and the whole time he's walking over, he's just like staring at me as he's walking, walking away. Gets over to the stairs and just like hangs on one of the bars. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then he walks around the playground to then stand on a few of the stairs on the other side and then comes back around to hang on the stairs again and then goes back around and he does this for like 10 minutes. He does it 2 or 3 times for about 10 minutes and then decides to leave. And it's really, really odd because just off of the playground, there's like an adult calisthenics section where you can go and like do dips
right.
and
I was just about to say, is he like trying to work out, stretch himself out, and sort of
yeah,
thing? This
like
is like the end of his walk, and he stretches himself out, and then he goes back or whatever. But if there was a thing for that, literally for that, then why is he?
exactly. I was like,
He's like around.
bro, you could go right over there. That would make sense, but we're the only people here on the playground. And I'm just like looking at this guy like, okay,
It was,
do I need to take my daughter and leave? Do I need to fight this guy? Like, what's going on? Like, this is odd. It's like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Like,
dude, he was mad.
it doesn't make
You
any
were
sense.
taking up his workout equipment, and you weren't. You know, you did wipe it off, like you said earlier. So that was. I'm sure he shouldn't have been mad about that, but
I guess, but it
he's mad that you're taking up his space, man.
it did make me feel really uncomfortable. I was like, this is doesn't feel like normal behavior. Like you're here by yourself, sir. There's no child with you. Why are you looking at me kind of weird? Like my spidey senses are going off a little bit. Like,
Yeah, I would have also had the spidey senses tingling, but at least you didn't get the solicitation. So,
oh, dude, I'd have been calling 911 so fast.
oh, dude, I'm so mad that I didn't get that dude's license plate number. I would have went straight in because I have to go. This is a place I have to check in with actual security,
Hmm.
get a badge and everything. And since I didn't get his license plate number, I mean, what's the point? Like, there's thousands of cars that go in and out of that lot every single day. They're not going to be watching for a random 2008 Toyota Corolla with seafoam or Mariner blue, I guess would be the best way I could describe the color of this car. But if I would have got the license plate number, dude would have called it in or looked on the security cameras and whatnot. But I messed up. I was just so flabbergasted. like, like that's another thing. Like we get put in these weird. We think we're ready right? We think we're ready for the worst of the worst, but when something weird like that happens, do we really keep our composure and, check our surroundings and, make sure all the corners are clear?
Yeah,
Even though I felt like I was on top of my game and I had that guy pegged as a weirdo and I was right, still at the end of the day, I didn't get the correct information to give to the correct people to possibly catch this guy doing this again. Because I mean, what's it going to be for him next if he thinks he can get away with soliciting soliciting sloppy BJs? You know, is he going to turn up in a trench coat next? I mean, there was just a college campus, 2 or 3 miles away from where I was at. Is he going to go on campus in a trench coat next? You know what I mean? Is he going to pick up somebody who's, half my size? And if he thinks he can get away with that, what else does he think he can get away with? You know what I mean? And I think we should all try and, even though we think that we're ready, on top of our game, I think we could really, take it a step further and try and think ahead. That's what I wish I would have done.
yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I mean, yeah, it feels like the world is getting weirder and weirder as time goes on, and it's, I don't know, something to really be like cognizant of, especially as, I mean, and maybe I'm just living in an echo chamber. I don't know, but I feel like a lot more young people these days, or like, I mean, I don't know if we're still classified as young people, but I mean,
No, sorry,
no,
no, I don't think we
shit.
are.
What are we classified as? Middle aged?
Yeah, we're probably at the middle age point, buddy. I'm sorry to say.
Nice. I still feel like I'm a young person, but
Well, good for you. I feel good. That's good for you.
but yeah, no, I think that I feel like I see a lot of people online, and maybe it's just bogus, but I feel like I see a lot more people like in the gym and like getting fit and trying to do things like more or less like the right way. I feel like the whole body positivity thing is just kind of like going out the window of like, oh, like love me for my size. I feel like that's really going away
Yeah,
quick. But
I think to a certain point that's good to be self-confident, but there's definitely a limit there. Like like myself, I know, like, I'm not super duper overweight, but I know I could do better. And there are times where I should be confident, like when I'm talking to, like, in the professional sphere. I'm not going to let me thinking I'm a little overweight negate confidence talking to a customer about their mechanical issues
Sure.
on their HVAC or refrigeration equipment.
well, you're also a subject matter expert.
Some might say. But on the flip side of that, when it comes to just personal self-confidence, I feel like, that there's always room for improvement. Not to don't get down on yourself or anything, but, know that you can always do something better to make yourself do something to make yourself better. You know what I mean? But don't let that slow you down in other aspects of your life. I guess unless you're like 300-400 pounds, then maybe you should make that your central part of your life.
Yeah.
For a little bit to because at that point it's a health risk.
Totally.
I'm not at the point of it being a super duper health risk, but
And I'm not gonna let you get to that place either.
okay, good. Yeah, I hope I don't let myself get to that place. That'd be terrible.
No, so I what was it? Somebody, I put up some short a little while back, and like somebody was like just left a comment, and I try so hard not to read the comments, just because sometimes the comments can just be like so toxic and like not good for you. But like me, like if you know me, I'm a very like empathetic person, and I want to see everybody do the absolute best for themselves that they can. And so like anytime I'm like talking to somebody about like, oh, you could do this better, or you should go to the gym, or you should fix your eating habits or whatever, Like, it's not like I think I'm some great person who's way better at it than you are. I'm just like, dude, I think you're a cool person. I think it would be awesome to have you around as long as possible and in the best capacity possible and see you be successful and live a beautiful, happy life. And like, that's what I want for you. I want the best for you. And so like, these are some things that I think we could, that might help you. But anyway, this, it just got me thinking. I saw like an Instagram reel of Joe Rogan talking about working out, and he put it so perfectly. And he said, I mean, I'm going to paraphrase, so don't quote him on this, but he was saying something about don't work out or go to the gym for vanity. Like, you should look at it as like longevity, because the like, as you age, you start to lose the ability to do things. But the best way to counteract that is by lifting weights. Because like, eventually you're going to get to that place where like, oh, if you're not lifting weights or you're not working out, you're not taking care of yourself in a positive way, then like, you can't open that jar or you can't climb those stairs, and your quality of life's going to degrade. And like, that's like really sad to see. And I have some family members that have gotten overweight and are very out of shape, but it seems like, and they're in like they're farther along in life than I am, and they're like, oh man, like, how did it get like this? Like, let me change this. I'm gonna try to get healthy again and do this diet and stuff. So like, let's just not let it get to that point. Let's just breed a healthy culture and say like, hey, like, we can do better. Let's do better. And like, there's a positive reason why we can do better.
Yeah, 100%. And coming from somebody who hasn't always been in shape, it starts with like back in the day, I was a pretty healthy, semi-athletic person. I played varsity sports in
Right.
high school. It starts with the sports you love to play. And eventually, somebody will be like, hey, come on, sub on this baseball team for me. And you get out there, you throw your arm out, or like I subbed for this slow pitch softball, all men's slow pitch softball competitive team for a weekend. The second game in, I pulled my hamstring, rounding third, going home, and I had to be like, boys, I'm done. I could barely walk. It sucked, and that was like, this was years ago. That was a realization to me, like, man, I don't got it, and that kind of sucks. But then, years later, I got serious about working out again. Obviously, that fell off after having a kid. Excuses. But when I was working out, I had got into hockey by then, and I felt like my hockey game was falling off after working out for a few months. Dude, I feel like I've never played hockey at a higher level. Just getting out there, I feel like I had the stamina. I feel like I was skating faster. I had a harder shot. And, because I wasn't tired, I played the game at a higher level because I had my head up. I was able to pass and do all that stuff better because I wasn't so fatigued. It, if not for, obviously down the road, going upstairs and stuff like that. But, for people in our predicament, the sports are the first thing to go. And if you want to enjoy those sports again at a level that a higher competitive level at our age, in adult leagues, it's enjoyable just to be able to compete at a higher level in those adult
Absolutely.
adult leagues.
Well, the I this is actually kind of like perfect, honestly, because this is going to end up being the last podcast of the year that comes out. And I've been reading this book recently. It's called Big Money Energy by Ryan Serhant. I think it's Ryan Serhant. But anyway, yeah, Serhant.
Serhant?
I think that's correct. Anyway, he's a realtor. He's like a multi-million-dollar realtor. I guess he was like the biggest realtor in the world. I'd never heard of him until a couple of weeks ago. But he's got this book called Big Money Energy. And dude, I've been reading it and I felt so called out about it. because there's this one part that in one of the chapters that I was reading today, and he was just talking about how like there's big money energy and there's bullshit money energy. And if you're actually like confident in what you're doing and you know your stuff and you've done the prep work, then yeah, you're going to, be kind to people and really be understanding, and you're going to be a net positive to the world. But if you have that like bullshit money energy, then you're going to be like somebody who's um just making it all about you and, not really adding to other people's lives. You're going to be focusing more on yourself and stuff. And I kind of felt called out because I was like, oh, I kind of feel like I've been doing that lately, because it's so much harder to be vulnerable with yourself and say like, these are the things that I need to be changing, and these are the things that I need to be doing to get better and to grow and all that stuff. And if you have your goals and whatever, and like I have a lot of goals and a lot of things that I want to do, but clearly what I'm doing is not working, because if it was working, then I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in a much nicer house in a nicer place with nicer cars and better things, and I'd have more freedom and I'd have more time, and I would have achieved my goals already. So like the things that I've done that have gotten me to where I am now are great and they're good, but it's also not what's going to take me to the next level. And if that's where I really want to go, then I have more self work to do, and I have more to learn about myself and more that I need to be vulnerable about and honest about. And he had this thing that he talked about. It was called like a bullshit audit, where he was like, oh, you should talk to, your friends and your family and like say like, hey, what are some things about me that like I need to do better or that I could, grow in? And it's like, you have to learn how to take that criticism in a positive way. Like if you come back from something, or you've been out for like half the day and you show back up at the office and you stink, like, would you want your coworkers to be like, hey dude, you stink? Are you going to be like, oh dude, you're so mean? Or are you going to be like, dude, thanks for telling me, let me go fix that? And so I was just thinking about that a lot today, and like I have a horrible problem with procrastination. And I feel like that's a really hard thing for me to like admit, because like I don't want to admit that I'm a procrastinator. I want to think to myself that like I'm doing the right things and I'm continuing to grow, but I'm really not. I gotta admit that to myself. But as I was like reading this book today, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can talk to Austin about this tonight and be like, dude, you know me pretty well. What are some things that you think that I can do better?
Well, man, I don't want to. I don't like talking people up. I like you said. I know you pretty well. While you were talking about all that, I knew the question was coming, and I was trying to rack my brain. I was trying to rack it and rack it and rack it. Brother, I wish I had like a big criticism to give you. I think you just need to keep grinding, dude. Keep grinding. I just think that opportunity just hasn't really presented itself to you, just out of sheer bad luck. I think just keep grinding, brother. I got no. I wish I did. Like I said, I don't like talking people up. But you got the drive. You got a good mentality about things. You read and try to better yourself every single day. I got nothing, dude. I wish I did. I wish I had a bad thing. Well, you know what? How about this? Your appearance sometimes. That little poof you got coming out right there, and you got a backwards hat on, dude. I think maybe that's it. You got the backwards hat. My dad always used to tell me, if you're wearing your hat going backwards, that's the way your life is going. It's going backwards. So you need to wear your hat. You need to wear your hat forwards. Maybe that's it. You ever seen Caddyshack? You ever watch Caddyshack?
Yeah, great movie.
So, for those viewers out there who've never seen Caddyshack, it's about golf, and the main character is having a rough time. He keeps on shanking everything to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. He's on the driving range, and his his caddy tells him, take the tee, take a tee, put it in your left ear, turn your hat off to the left like this, take your keys, put them in your left pocket, take your belt buckle and move it all the way to the left. And he looks absolutely ridiculous after all this. He goes, I forgot the caddy's name. He's like, dude, I look ridiculous. He goes, I don't give a, just hit the ball. Just hit the ball, Roy. And he hits the ball, and he hits it dead straight. Well, he was just so worried about everything he was doing that he knew he could do it. He already put in the work to be able to be an amazing golfer. He was just thinking way too much about it. That he was worried about his appearance. He was worried about everything, but in his mechanics, he'd already put in the work to do it. He just needed to do it and forget about everything else. And so maybe that's my advice to you. You've already put in the work, brother. Just fucking do it. Don't worry about all the mechanics of things. You've already put in the fucking work to have the right mentality. Just fucking do it.
No, so that's actually phenomenal criticism that you gave me about the about wearing different clothes. That was another thing he talked about in his book. Just like, and I've heard this a bunch of times before, where you need to dress like the person you want to be. But another thing he said was like, okay, like wake up and decide that you're going to be the person that you talk about being, that you think about being. So like, what does that person do? What does that person dress like? What does that person say? How good are they at certain things? And I really value your criticism and what you said, because I personally think that I've done a lot to kind of like change myself and adjust and become somebody different, somebody more like the person that I want to be. But I'm definitely not there yet. Like, there's still a lot more to go. But oh dude, I'm stoked. We're about to start a new year. I've read like 8 books this year, which is not enough, but I saw a Charlie Kirk reel a couple of weeks ago, and he was just talking about how to become like a better debater. And it was just like, consume as many books as you can. And he was saying that he tried to shoot for 100 to 120 books a year, which is bananas.
It's bananas.
And yeah, like I barely made it through 8. So
you're reading a book every 3 days, basically.
Pretty much.
That's crazy.
My biggest struggle though is like, what do I want to read? Like, there's 100 billion books out there. So like, how am I supposed to decide which ones I really want to read? But now I got this awesome thing called AI. So I was like, oh, this is genius. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and like pick all of the people that I really like admire and like want to be like, and then I'm gonna pimp like their book lists and say, okay, build me a book list that pulls from Tony Robbins and Patrick Bet-David and Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk and like all these other people, and like it's gonna hit all of these topics of things that I want to learn about, or just build me a book list.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go through and say like, okay, this one sounds interesting, that one doesn't sound interesting, like, and then those are the books that I'm gonna shoot for this year.
That's a great idea. Books I would want to read. I kind of want to read. I want to read the Quran, just because.
I have one.
Do you actually?
I got one.
Just because I want to.
Yeah, no shit.
I want to see that perspective. You know what I mean? And I hear it's not even a super heavy read. It's not like reading the Bible. It's quite a bit shorter than the Bible, from what I hear.
It's like this big.
Yeah, and so, that's one that it's kind of on my list that I would like to read. I was talking to one of my buddies today, actually, and he was talking to me about this movie that's coming out called The Odyssey. And I go, oh.
I've heard rumblings about it, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, like the book. He goes, well, it's I don't know about that, but it's about it's like kind of medieval times, and I was like, yeah, Homer wrote the Odyssey. The like the Iliad and the Odyssey, and the Trojan horse is the Iliad, and the Odyssey is his journey back. And well, I don't know about anything that, but you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
if you think you're ill-read, there's many people out there that are way more like, ill-read than you, I suppose. Not to say that you shouldn't keep reading books, but I
Right.
was kind of flabbergasted. I had that conversation today with my buddy. I was like, buddy, like this is Homer, like the Iliad, Odyssey, like two of the greatest. I don't know what
Have
do you
you
call
read
them?
those?
Yeah, books of our time. It's like,
Have you read those?
in I think we read the Odyssey back in high school. I don't think we read the Iliad. But the Iliad is basically if you've seen what's the one where Brad Pitt is Achilles? Whatever that
Fuck, why
movie
is it
is.
Troy?
But I mean that's a Trojan horse. It's essentially
Yeah, it's Troy.
Troy. Yeah, Troy. Yes, I think that's essentially Iliad. And now who's the director? He told me who the director was. It's who did the Batman series with Christian Bale? Or Transformers. That's the one he's really known for.
Oh, I know who directed that, but I can't remember
Big
right now.
action director. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, somebody drop it in the comments, please.
I think. Don't
Yeah.
quote me on that. Don't kill me in the comments, please. My buddy told me, kill him. Don't kill him. Don't kill him.
Figure of speech, just a
Yeah,
joke.
figure of speech.
Just a joke. Not in favor of any violence.
No, violence is bad. Violence is so bad.
Oh man, that's it. That's too funny, dude. Okay, have you been watching anything from Amfest right now with TPUSA?
I've seen bits and pieces. I got through the biggest part I saw was I got through half of Candace's Friday show today. Her just going off on Shapiro, and I'm a subscriber to the Daily Wire, and I have not watched the Daily Wire in a while. I kind of took a week off of politics there this past week, so
That's necessary sometimes.
yeah. But anytime I like miss all those guys on the Daily Wire, I usually go back and watch Michael Knowles. I really like Michael Knowles for some reason. He seems like kind of level-headed dude, who's also a friend of Candace Owens. Which I'm not even a big Candace Owens fan. Just a lot of the people that I like watching on there are friends of Candace still. But man, she absolutely went off on Shapiro on the Friday show. I didn't watch today's show yet, so
There wasn't one today.
there wasn't one. Okay,
No, not one today. But
yeah, I was kind of shaking my head like, yeah, she's not wrong. Lately, he's been losing a lot of subscribers, and
have you? Did you go watch Ben Shapiro's speech at Amfest?
I saw bits and pieces of it from Candace's show today.
You should watch the full thing. Yeah, I would recommend watching the full thing, and then I went and watched his full speech, and then I went and watched Tucker Carlson's full speech. And then I saw a clip of Megyn Kelly, kind of from her
Right.
speech talking about it. But yeah, dude, I don't feel like that went very well for Ben Shapiro at all.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, man. If
I don't
he's
either.
if he's caught in the web, or I don't know. It seems like he's kind of in between a rock and a hard place here,
Just
right?
a little bit.
And he's garnered all this support on the right, and he really helped. He was him and the Daily Wire were really in that sphere with Charlie Kirk of getting Donald Trump reelected. I don't think they did as much as Charlie did, but back in 2016, 2020, they really did a lot of work for him, more than Charlie did, because he wasn't really, especially in 2016, he really wasn't in the scene yet. But
Right.
they've really kind of helped garner this Republican wave that they've never really had before. And now that they're kind of right here with Charlie Kirk, right, and Turning Point, and then he's over here with the Tiny Hat Club, I guess we'd call him. And you can believe what you want to believe, but he's kind of in between those two, and if you want to believe what kind of the media is putting out there, with the sides have different means to an end, I suppose. He's kind of caught in the middle, if you believe all that. That is.
Sure.
This is all speculative.
Yeah.
Right?
I find
some
it so
people
hard
just-
to. Sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, the other side of that is some people might just say he's just fallen out of favor. It could be as simple as that.
Could be. I found it really hard to just understand like where he's trying to come from. I mean, you can, hate him, like him, don't like him, whatever. But like Nick Fuentes is not fringe anymore. He's been on all the big shows. He's been on Piers Morgan and all that stuff. I don't really know a lot about the guy. I've heard some of his stuff, but it kind of like blows my mind to like see Ben Shapiro from the right wing being like, you cannot allow this person to speak, when it feels like the whole problem for the past 10 years has been the censoring of free speech.
Mm-hmm.
Like, allow people to talk. If you have an idea and it's stupid, or you don't like what somebody says, then like, let's hear it. People are going to decide whether or not it's a stupid idea or not. But like, that's not what the right's supposed to be about. Like, you guys have been arguing for so long about freedom of speech. Let everybody talk. We have to have, a marketplace of ideas. But now let's shut it down. Let's shut it down if anybody has a differing opinion. That's not right. Like, if you don't like what somebody else is saying, like, fine, that's cool. But like, let's talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know what you have to say.
100%.
Like, I frequently like to go to left-wing, podcasts and, left-wing media sources. Like, I want to hear like the full thing that you guys have to say. Do you have a good argument here? Is it going to change my mind? I try to stay very open-minded. Like, I feel like the truth is somewhere in the middle. I mean, I don't think that everything from the left is correct, and I don't think everything from the right is correct. And I think that, a lot of the time, you should hear everybody out and, together kind of decide what a good path forward should be.
Yeah, the free marketplace of ideas, right? The thing that Charlie Kirk really advocated for, right?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but they killed him for it. I don't know who they is. You can speculate on your own who they is, but he advocated for the free market of ideas. That was his whole shtick, right? And that's what he built his right conglomerate on, is let's show up, talk face to face, and put our ideas out there. And when Charlie was taken off of the scene, I thought to myself, well, there's a big power vacuum here.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
going to take it? Massive power vacuum. And there were a few guys, and Nick Fuentes was one of them that I thought could fill that vacuum. Not that I wanted him to. I agreed a lot more with what Charlie had to say and his ideology than Nick Fuentes. But lo and behold, It's Fuentes who is filling that power vacuum at the moment, and in our political right, and it's causing a lot of uh, uh, disagreements, I guess you could say, on the right. And then you have Candace Owens over here still talking about, she's asking her questions, right, about what happened with Charlie, and I think she definitely has a right to ask those questions. But there's a lot going on the political right in the United States because of Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, who knows? Maybe this is what we need to, who knows what's going to rise from the ashes, from all this. Is it going to be Nick Fuentes, not being a troll anymore? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he says, but his whole thing is, here's my ridiculous take. He brings, okay, maybe it's not always ridiculous, but here's my take, and he puts a spin on it that everybody goes, they clutch their pearls so hard that they have bruises on the back of their neck. But still, his whole thing is, here's my take, let's talk about it, right? He may not always come out and just say that, but that's his whole thing. And when he went on Piers, like, all Piers did was clip farm him.
Yeah.
And instead of actually, like, asking about why he did it, he just says, do you agree with yourself? And obviously,
I said it, so
Nick Fuentes
I probably agree
says,
with myself.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, yes, I agree with myself, right? And then, which I thought this was kind of funny, because Ben Shapiro hates Nick Fuentes, hates him. He's tried to pin him down and silence him his whole career. But back when they were fighting, I forgot the organization they were fighting, but he went and talked with Congress, and one of the dumb Democratic senators, I forgot his name, but he put up a bunch of stuff on a big poster board that Ben Shapiro said. And he's like, you said this and this and this. And Ben Shapiro goes, yes, you're right. I agree with myself. You got it. Like, and that's all Nick Fuentes did. But then Shapiro comes back and, plasters him, tries to plaster him for agreeing with himself. It's like, he's doing the same thing that you're doing, Ben, but he just has a different view on it. Now, why don't you go and just debate him on
I'd
views?
love to see that.
Why don't you just talk about it?
That would be really interesting.
And that's ultimately, I feel like, what Fuentes wants, is he wants to just talk to Ben Shapiro about views and go back and forth. And can you imagine the amount of money if they just sat in an auditorium and talked face to face about these views? Like, and they did it truthfully and honestly, instead of, I know Nick likes to troll and do all that, like he kind of did on Piers Morgan. I wish he would have done that a little bit better.
Yeah.
And just said, yes, I agree with what I said, but you want to talk about it? You want to debate this view with me? What's your view? What's your view on this? You know what I mean? But instead, he kind of, I don't know. That's going to come with time, I feel like.
Well, he's still young, too.
Fuentes,
I mean, he's a little bit younger than us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure if he's 30 yet.
I think he's 28.
And I think with time, he could be a lot better at that. But
well, but even still, so, like, if your ideas can change, your thoughts about things can change. Like, how much have, our ideas changed over the years? I mean, I guarantee you I don't believe the same things now that I believed when I was, 20. And, like, I definitely I won't believe in 5 years what I believe right now. Like, it's constantly changing. There's constantly new information coming to light. There's constantly new opinions. Like, there are so many times where I hear somebody else, like, talk about something and I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Maybe that changes, my view on this. Like, let's apply that and see how it works. So, like, I think it's important to stay curious and to stay, objective, because, like, there's 8 billion people plus in the world. How should I be able to, like, sit here and say, like, oh, I'm right, nobody else is right, nobody else has a better opinion than I do? like it's kind of like the what I was saying with this the Ryan Serhant thing. Like if you've got it all figured out, please like share your book with me. I would love to know. Like tell me the secrets because I don't think anybody has it figured out yet. So like let's all just like talk to each other. What do you think? How can we get better? You know, is your idea better than mine? Maybe both of our ideas can come together to create a better one. I don't know. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my views have definitely changed over the years, and I thought it was kind of interesting. We're on the Nick Fuentes thing, and we both you watch Ian Carroll every
I
once in a while,
don't
right?
actually. I want to, but I I just haven't. There's just too many things. But
So
where can you get his podcast at? Is it just on YouTube or Rumble
uh,
or?
just on YouTube. I think he streams on Twitch, but he puts up kind of lengthy YouTube clips from his Twitch. Uh, but Ian Carroll caught the ire of Fuentes recently. They were talking about uh, like the 30-06
Oh
going through the
yeah,
neck
I do
thing,
think
and
Ian
then
kind of
I think I
had a
sent you
better
that
point
clip.
about all that. Ian Carroll was
Yeah.
kind of based.
So, and to the point of like there are different opinions out there, and you should listen to all the opinions, right? So, there was Ian's original post about the bullet, and then Fuentes, who went and tried to debunk it, and then Ian came back and was like, "I'm going to respond to this because you called me out," and he had that 30-minute video, and then Andrew Wilson, guy I
Yeah, yeah,
talked
yeah.
to you about before, guy I really like to listen to, he went over Ian's video because Wilson's really big on like debate and actually, he's very analytical and technical when it comes to debate. And he was going through Ian's rebuttal video and going through like, all right, well, okay, well, this isn't actually evidence, and this is just, you know, a false,
Right.
whatever. Um, and so there's so much. I don't know. It just really got kind of in the weeds, I suppose. But it's interesting to kind of look at everybody reacting to everybody and bringing their own expertise into a certain particular topic or subject to really kind of broaden your horizon. I mean, I still think Ian was correct. I don't like, I, like regardless if pig bone density isn't the same as human bone density.
He had a good point though. Nobody's gonna go out and try
It's
that on another human.
right, and that's kind of the crux of it, right? Is nobody's actually going to go try that out on another human. Like that's kind of, but you're going to try and get as close as you can
Sure.
to the real thing. But I mean, if it's blown up, pig bones and horse bones and oxen bones. I don't know if anybody's done oxen bones yet, but and then Wilson's kind of a gun nut himself, so he was talking about, well, if this was a real, you know, if it was actually shot from this, it wasn't a Mosin, it was what was the rifle?
Mauser?
Anyways,
I think it was a Mauser.
Was it a
is
yeah,
what
Mauser.
they alleged that it
Yeah,
was.
it was a Mauser. So, right, alleged. Yeah, and if it was actually shot from a World War II era Mauser, the rifling could be gone. And if the rifling's gone, that's going to do stuff to the velocity of the projectile. And it may not fly as fast because the twist rate isn't correct. And it might actually, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things at play. But I feel like the big thing that I learned from the Ian clip, was that picture of the rifle that they showed.
Yeah.
You know, in that it's like in a cardboard box or whatever. That
Allegedly.
wasn't the actual rifle. That was like a stock
Yeah, I
picture
thought I
that
heard
they found on the internet. that the New York Times.
Yeah, that's
put.
what I thought that I heard something about the fact that they may or may not have had to print a retraction or something about that. Don't quote me on that. Don't fact check me
Yeah,
on that.
they did.
Go do your own research for yourself. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, but yeah, we haven't seen a picture of the rifle. That wasn't the picture of the
Yeah.
rifle.
Well, yeah,
Which
that
I
was
thought
kind of wild.
wild.
But hey, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. So I appreciate you doing this. For anybody who wants to go check out that, the Kinesium, Kinesium, is collaborating with us now, and I'm gonna drop a link in the comments, in the description. So go check them out if you guys wanna check that out and get one for yourself. Try it out. Let us know what you think, and we would love to hear you guys' thoughts about tonight's conversation. It's been a blast. Austin, thanks always for coming on, man. Let's do it again soon,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Hey,
Yeah, for
Happy
sure.
New Year, everybody. We'll see you guys in 2026.